The horsepower is 470 horsepower, and we have 470 foot-pounds of torque. The quarter mile is right around 12.5, 12.6 seconds. We call it mid-12s. And 0 to 60 is in the upper 4s, right around 4.7, 4.8 seconds. We've done a number of things for the 2011 engine. It was first released in the 2011 Challenger, and that carried through for 2012. But the things that we did with it, specifically on the automatic, for example, we do cylinder deactivation, so we go from 8-cylinder to 4-cylinder. That really helps us out with our fuel economy on the highway, right? The other thing that we introduced with the 6.4 that we didn't have before was cam phasing. So we actually have a VCT, a variable cam timing, so we phase the cam to enable us to have the performance at the high end, but also some of the idle stability and some of the efficiency at the low end. So we're able to really balance a more efficient engine by incorporating some of those technologies. The third thing we did on this engine, which makes it kind of special from the 6.1, is we incorporated an active intake manifold. The active intake manifold is something that we've never done before, and essentially when the engine gets up in the higher RPM, it kind of runs out of air. So what we do on the active manifold is that we'll actually change from a long runner to a short runner to keep that air coming straight to the cylinders and keep that torque up there. And so the resultant is just phenomenal power. And at the same time, going back to the efficiency, we can manage that with the long runner and really maximize the efficiency of the engine in the other non-high RPM zones. What we tried to accomplish with the feature is that when you touch the sport button on the L products, like the Challenger, for example, it tightens up the rebound and compression on all the shocks in the 4 corners. Basically locks everything down, so you got a super rigid ride, and that makes it really hug the track, and that's why we do it. When you're in automatic mode, the vehicle will actually sense the road. We have accelerometers in the different corners of the vehicle. Will sense the attitude of the vehicle and will adjust the rebound and compression damping in order to keep the vehicle as balanced as possible. So it results in a very nice ride, a very comfortable ride, but it also has a lot of capabilities because in auto mode it's adaptive. So the more you push the car, the more you get some of that more rigid ride on the damping side, and you push the performance envelope. Yeah, one of the things that we wanted to work on with the paddle shifters, we want to make sure that when the customer hits the upshift or downshift, they get almost an instantaneous shift. So we worked really hard with the transmission group and the integrators to make sure that we took as much of the latency out of the system. That's key right there. The second thing that we wanted to do was the touch points of the actual paddles. We wanted to have them made out of aluminum. You know, they should feel like they're a quality piece. They shouldn't feel plasticky. And then another thing is we wanted to design them ergonomically, and that's where the new steering wheel came in. We worked directly with our customers, and we developed a steering wheel that achieved basically all of the best practices that we saw in the field in the competition. We took all those things, put them all into one, and worked directly with Studio to achieve the new steering wheel that you see on the 2012 Ls and the WK products for SRT. Well, for the 2012 Challenger SRT8, safety features pretty much remain the same. We have side airbags. We have dual front airbags, obviously, right? And then we have pre-tensioners on the seat belts to help tension up the seat belts for in an event of an impact. Some of the other things that we have is the ESC system. We further improved the ESC system in the 2012, bringing up the capabilities of the traction control system to better manage this improved torque and horsepower that we have. And we're going to allow the more freedom in the vehicle. You can oversteer the car a lot more on the track when you want it. However, when it's in full on, it's going to be locked down to the road, and it's going to be very safe for the driver. So that makes it really safe for people driving the car to and from work as well. Some of the other safety features that we have are on the brake system, we have a knockback mitigation. So when you're riding on the racetrack and you're pushing the car through the corners, we have opposed piston fixed caliper brakes, which tends to push the pistons back into the cylinders. So after a 0.6 G loading or higher, we will actually start cycling the ABS module to prime the brakes so that on the next corner the brakes are right there. So that translates on the racetrack for faster track times, but it also helps you when you're on the road. An example of that is if you're throwing the car through the paces and going through a corner on the street, the pads are always going to reseat themselves and they're always going to be ready for you. So there's a perfect example of something that was improved for the racetrack that has a direct effect on the safety on the road. Ready stop technology, where if you're on the accelerator, you're full on the accelerator and you lift the accelerator very quickly, the vehicle is anticipating that you're trying to do a panic stop, hence the quick lift. And so we actually prime the brakes and get it ready for a stop so that when the customer gets on the brake after the quick lift, it's right there. And you can feel that on the track, absolutely.